read, in the name of your Lord and Cherisher who created man out of a mere clot of congealed blood.
Hi there and welcome back to Safiyya Traders Bookstore's weekly book introduction, and this is Sammil, and this week we are going to introduce to our audience, our viewers, a distinctive book, a seminal work, which is of course relevant to the time which we live in, our present time, when pristine Islam has been subsumed in the surge of secularism, atheism, liberalism and all these other types of isms, and has been marginalized to a mere quote-unquote religion. The word religion itself is a fabricated word, but anyways, Islam has been marginalized to a mere religion, preoccupied with rituals and void of any empirical solutions to the social, political, economical, ethical, spiritual and whatnot problems engulfing the Muslim world in particular and world Muslims at large. So the most significant reason among others for this tremendous setback has been the subtle historical process of misunderstanding of Islam. It's a historical process. So at this point of time, it is crucial, therefore, to introduce this book titled Islam, the Misunderstood Religion. Islam, the Misunderstood Religion, written by, the author's name is Qutb. He is the sibling of Sayyid Qutb, a well-renowned author as well as scholar of Islam. The majority of the modern educated people today are faced with a religious crisis. Is religion a fact of life? Well, it might have been one in the past, but does it still remain so in the world today, when science has literally changed the course of life and there is no place for anything else in this world save science and what scientific facts approve of? Does religion represent a genuine need of humanity, or is it something that is entirely dependent upon the temperamental constitution of an individual? See, when we talk about Islam, these modern educated elites are those overwhelmed by the modern materialistic thoughts or Western thoughts. They betray a similar sense of intellectual crisis when we tell them, look, Islam is not a mere creed, nor does it represent the edification of souls and refinement or training of human virtues. Rather, it is a harmonious whole which also includes a just economical and political system, a well-balanced social organization, codes of civil and criminal law, a philosophical outlook upon life, along with it, of course, the system of physical instruction. All these flowing from the same fundamental creed of Islam. When these modern educated people, these people of modernity, when they hear this, they are greatly perplexed, because they presumed that Islam had since long been ceased to exist, as it has become outmoded and had exhausted all of its usefulness. So they are taken aback when they hear us telling that Islam doesn't belong to a remote past. It is neither obsolete or antiquated. It is neither obsolete nor antiquated. Rather, it is a flourishing, living system of life, even at this present moment, as it holds within itself the elements of life as no other system known to humanity does, including socialism, communism, or any other types of social, economical or political systems. Having said that, let us, however, pause for a while and see as to who these educated skeptics are. where does the skepticism originate? Is this attitude of mind a result of their own free thinking, or are they merely parroting others' words? I mean, without listening to what others has to say. The fact of the matter is that the skepticism exhibited by these gentlemen, these so-called modern Muslims, is not at all a result of their own independent thinking, nor did it originate in their own minds as such. It is for tracing its original source, we have to backtrack a little and have a look at the history of modern times. The Middle Ages. The Middle Ages witnessed crusades between Europe and the world of Islam. Furious battles were being fought between these two camps, between the European world and the Islamic world, after which followed a period which saw a moratorium of hostilities between the two camps. And nevertheless, their hostilities against each other never ended, by the way. So we must also keep in mind that throughout the last 2 centuries, the European imperialism has remained in conflict with the Islamic Orient. When the British imperialists colonized the Muslim world, they have adopted an educational policy that insidiously turned the students, the Muslim students, ignorant about the reality of Islam. Except that Islam was a religion embracing prayers, worships, praising and glorifying God, pursuing this mystic practices, and that Quran was a book that was read in order to invoke God's blessings, and that Islam was a religion. Was actually a theoretical invitation to pursue the noblest and most generous of moral precepts. So this is how they presented Islam to the students. The Muslim students were never taught about Islam as a socio-economic system of government, or a constitution, a system of education, a complete way of life, and a watcher over life. Rather, what they were taught instead is these doubts that were cast against Islam by the Orientalists and other European crusaders in order to make Muslims, forsake their religion and to make them succumb easily to the evil maneuvers of the European imperialists. So as well, the British, they have depicted, on par with this, the British, they have depicted Europe as a rebellious mighty giant with none to defy it, nor no one is there to check its progress, and on the other hand, it presented the East as a dwarfish underling with no with no independence whatsoever, with no standing on its own save its subordination to Europe and its complete dependence upon Europe for its social and cultural outlook. So as a fallout, there sprang up among Muslims generations who by and large are shorn of any individual thoughts and independent cultural existence. They were completely enthralled by Europe. They worshipped Europe, so to speak, most devotedly, that they could neither see with their own eyes, nor were they anymore left capable of thinking for themselves. They saw what their European masters wanted them to see, and they thought what their European masters wanted them to think. And this is who they are. These are poor people, poor not in the materialistic, neither in the materialistic nor in the monetary sense of the word, but purely in an intellectual sense of the word. These are poor people who are suffering from an intellectual crisis for a very long time. So these are poor people who know nothing about Islam except rituals. They are obsessed with rituals, except rituals, and they have no information about Islam except what they have received through their European masters. So It's no surprise for us when we see them shouting like their European masters, advocating the separation of religion from the state and of science from religion. So even when they call upon their countrymen to discard Islam or to tell them that Islam has no say in the management of the socio-political and economic spectrum of the community or life. When they do this, they are merely expressing or parroting the imported thoughts of their European masters. This book is not intended to such type of people, nor was it written to address them, because they will never return to what is right until their European masters return back to what is right. So rather, this book is intended to address another set of people, another group of people, an enlightened class of people, as I would like to call them, an enlightened, independent set of people whose thoughts are free, whose activities are free from all shackles, all bondages of neo-colonialism. And it is this enlightened class of people, be they Muslims or non-Muslims, that this book is presented to, and I hope that it will dispel any types of doubts or ambiguities or uncertainties about Islam from the mind. So that's it. We have reached our conclusion. Before winding up, I would like to read out the contents of the book. The contents of the book starts with the preface, and the first topic is the preface. So this is so that you will get an idea about what this book is all about. So, is religion antiquated? Islam and slavery, Islam and feudalism, Islam and capitalism, Islam and private ownership, Islam and the class system, Islam and arms, Islam and women, Islam and the concept of punishment, Islam and civilization, Islam and reactionarism, Islam and sexual repression, Islam and the freedom of thought, is religion the opium of the people, Islam and non-Muslim communities, Islam and idealism, Islam and communism, what next? And that's it. These are the contents of the book, Islam, the Misunderstood Religion by Muhammad Qutb. For orders, contact Safiyya Traders Bookstore, Nagarkoil. This is Samil. See you next week.